Good afternoon and welcome to Muskegon Rotary. My name is Tim Arter and I have the pleasure of serving as your president this year. Today's program will be a presentation by Cindy Larson regarding her 25 years leading the Muskegon Chamber of Commerce. We will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a reflection from Susan Crane. We will recite the four-way test at the end of the meeting. We will also be inducting a new member today, and there will also be a Paul Harris Award. At this time, let's do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Before we give our reflection, I ask that we have a moment of silence for the passing of Tim Achteroff, a former Muskegon Rotary Club member and Paul Harris Award recipient. Thank you. Susan?
We are fortunate in West Michigan to not have to deal with a lot of natural disasters. So when I say this invocation, I want us to think of what we could do for our fellow Rotarians from Helena to this storm that just occurred. As we gather here today as members of Rotary, we pray that we will ever be mindful of opportunities to render our services to fellow citizens and to our community. Keep in mind always the enduring values of life, exerting our efforts in those areas and on these things upon which future generations can build with confidence. Let us continue to strive to make a better world as Rotarians. Amen.
So at this time, you can return to your tables and we'll be in contact with you a little bit. Thank you. Thank you. Rotarians with guests and visiting Rotarians, please come forward for their introduction. Come ahead. Alrighty.
Hello, everybody. Nick Green with Route 31 Credit Union, and today I have with me Mike Apostle. He is the Director of Business Development with Journey Construction Group, and he is interested in checking out Rotary.
Okay, here we go. You take this.
Hey, I'm Sue Samaniego. I have with me Lisa Gaddy Arnold, who is the Dean of Nursing and Health Programs at MCC, and she will be inducted today. Yes.
Hi, I'm Jamie Soa, and I am here with Kelly Deal. She works with us at Baker College. Every single organization probably has one person that makes you look really good all the time, and Kelly Deal is that person for me and for Dr. Mikey. So she's just a wonderful person. She's here with us today because her daughter, Izzy, is going to be talking here in a minute too. So thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Annette Jack, and I'm pleased to have as my guest today Kent Scudder. And Kent is the CFO of Pinnacle Construction Group. And one of their recent projects was the Samaritas building for affordable housing in downtown Muskegon. And they are also working on one in downtown Spring Lake right now on 104.
Auto parts on the side. So anyway, I knew from a long time that that was really important. And so one of the first collaborations when I got this job was with the MAISD to pass the millage for the Career Tech Center. And so, yes, that was a huge thing. And Judy Hayner, that's probably the first time I met Judy. And that was also about networking and really going back to hear these young people coming from high school, because trust is built through networking and people that you, when you don't need them, is when you start to build that trust, right? So what happened there, the head of the MAISD at that time was Dr. Mike Bosom. He was my high school principal, and he remembered me as one of his students. So when we started to have this talk about the Career Tech Center, I could walk into that first meeting. I knew him and he knew me. So immediately we could start working on collaborations, and that would follow me time and time again. Of course, one of the most important projects that I did was and worked on, in this all collaboration, was downtown development. And I'm not going to talk about that because that's a whole program in itself, but same thing. And Chris just said it in a video, which was so cute. When I became the president of the chamber, she had not long before become the president of the foundation. We had known each other. We weren't friends. You know, I mean, we were friends, but it wasn't like we were that. No, we really weren't. Today we're good. I would call us very, very close, good friends through that collaboration. But I knew her well enough to pick up that phone and say, Chris, will you meet with me on this whole downtown thing? And of course, she immediately did. And that was the beginning of a 15 to 20-year journey, which we're still on today. In the beginning, I would say I spent, for 10 years, I probably spent time every single day working on downtown development until it got to a point where all of the collaborations were in place and it went on. And like I said, that's a story for another day. The final example of networking and collaboration, it was bringing the cruise ships to Muskegon. Right? So that was something that was also, you just don't know what you know. So I had read in the paper, back when we had a newspaper, that cruise ship called the Pearl Mist had gotten grounded, stuck in Saugatuck. It was literally stuck in the ground. They couldn't get the cruise ship out of Saugatuck. And I had been on one cruise, so I knew how the cruise ship industry worked, and I had been a boater, right? What was that? Oh, yeah, well, this is key, because a lot of people don't get these cruise ships go in and out of these harbors. So a lot of people, that they see this cruise ship, they think it's just coming to Muskegon, right? No, it starts in Toronto, it works its way around the Great Lakes. Every stop, you go on sightseeing tours, right? That's how the cruise ship works. So I knew that. And then I also had been in and out of all these ports, and I knew that Saugatuck was way too small for a cruise ship. And so I thought we need to bring these cruise ships to Muskegon. But it wasn't time, because the downtown looked awful. And I didn't think we could sell them on bringing the cruise ship here. But I went to the board of directors and I said, you know, these cruise ships, they're going to come here someday, and we've got to get started on this. It could take years to get their attention. Can we have a budget? I got to hire a consultant. I need to go to this conference. Can we take a chance on these cruise ships? Well, of all people, John Workman owns Eagle Alloy, one of the smartest industrialist foundrymen you're ever going to meet. He said, I think I know the owner of the Pearl Mist. And I'm like going, what? You know the owner of the Pearl Mist? And he goes, well, actually, he owns the whole line, and he's a shipbuilder. He's a super important guy, but John knew him because John flies airplanes. You know, the Hooligans is his group, and they're they do the historic planes they fly. And this guy was a plane flyer, and they knew each other from a plane club. And so or a flying club, I think they're called. I said, John, do you know him well enough that you could reach out to him? And he goes, yeah, I'll reach out to him. He goes, but I don't know what to say. He had no idea of how to sell Muskegon when it came to tourism. I said, I will write the letter. I will write the email. And we collaborated on a special email, and they gave him my contact information. We talked about the safe harbor, did that angle because I knew they had gotten stuck, and I knew that they wanted that to never happen again. All right, so I'm thinking this is the beginning of a journey, a 2-year journey. 2 weeks later, Literally 2 weeks later, I get a phone call. This is the pilot of the Pearl Mist. And I have an email here that says, you have a safe harbor and I need to come in tomorrow at 8 a.m. And I about had a heart attack. I just told these people I had a safe harbor. And I personally don't have the safe harbor. So because of the network, I was able to call Max McKee. This is 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I said, we've got a cruise ship, Max, and it wants to come into Muskegon. What are we going to do? And he says, I'll call you back. And I got to see the magic of the MART dock. And because it's not that easy, there's a lot of hoops you have to jump through with the Coast Guard and logistics and so on and so forth. And he said, called me back and he said, I can't get him in at 8 o'clock, but I can get him in at 10. And so it's like, oh my gosh. So we scrambled. Probably my first call was to Bob Lukens, like, we have a cruise ship coming in tomorrow. And I don't even think we believed what we were doing. Contacted the museums. I said, could you let all these passengers into your museums for free for one day? Everybody just jumped on board, and Rachel was working with us at that time, and she went down there and helped greet the cruise ship passengers. Well, the other part is we didn't know they were all signed up to go to Holland. The 4 buses come in, and here's our little welcome table, and like maybe 5 people came by. 5 people came in and actually walked into town, maybe 10, But anyway, it was enough. It was enough for us to get the exposure that we needed to get into that industry, because obviously we are the best port. By then, we had all the attractions. We introduced them to the museums. They had all the information. It just started to steamroll. And then, of course, that turned out to be an important collaboration between the Visitors Bureau and the Chamber of Commerce, and then them moving them to Heritage Landing, which is one of the most beautiful ports on the Great Lakes, so on and so forth. So that was my final story there, because I wanted to leave plenty of time for questions and answers. And I want to talk a little, should I switch to the future right now real quick? Yes, okay. The future. I gotta break this down so I don't forget anything on this. Just a couple things. This transformational, we're going through another transformation. I would say it's equal to going from lumber to industry. It's that complex and complicated, which is why we also have to let go of that generational pain of what we're gonna lose. And I was thinking about the lumberjacks, and I'm sure when Charles Hackley said, guess what? There's not going to be any more lumberjack jobs, right? There's going to be new jobs, new types of jobs, and we got to let that go, and we got to focus just on the future. And that's where we're at right now, and that's where we need your help. We still have people hanging on to the past. We still have people thinking that Muskegon's never going to thrive again, but it is going to thrive. We've already started on that journey, but I don't think we're quite there to understand that we may have one of the more prosperous communities in the state when we get through this transformation. The amount of investment that's taking place right now in the high-tech manufacturers of aerospace and life sciences, there's 1,000 jobs coming online. They're all good paying jobs with good benefits. So we have to stay focused on that and prepare our community for that so that we can move forward. One of the ways we're going to do that is by transforming the waterfront from what used to be an industrial waterfront to a recreational waterfront. And you're going to see, I'm going to help with that for a couple of years because we're going to need all hands on deck. And we have lots of visions for a whole maritime center so that we'll be on the water. Maybe we could get all of our historic ships all in one place. Maybe we could really make a beautiful, beautiful waterfront. It's going to take time. It's going to take networking, collaborations, everything we talked about, drawing on all of your experiences and understanding that there's a whole nother chapter for the future. So I wanted to mention that. And then finally, Rachel is, I want to make sure everybody realizes Rachel's taking over, right? Rachel, could you stand up? She's already had so many great ideas. We took a small group down to Detroit to see the Detroit Riverwalk and how that's transformed the Detroit Riverwalk. But beyond that, she's taking a group to Sweden. You know, the newest company in town, Cytiva, that's building a $900 million plant is based in Sweden. So we're going to take it where everybody's invited. You have to pay your own way, okay? But this is something many chambers do, and we just haven't done it. We need to see ourselves as an international city. We are an international city, and we're going to start by, Chamber is going to start hosting some international trips. They're for you and your friends or your spouse or whoever you'd like to go, but there will be a very small work component. The rest of it will just be plain fun and another way to help us network and get to know each other so we can build those future collaborations. Okay, that took me longer than I meant to, so I have time for a couple questions. Any questions? No questions? Okay, there's one.
Thank you, Cindy, my, how do you call it? My new girlfriend.
Yes.
I'm not creating this story, but this is really real. Here is a woman who was in France, and she liked the chair, the Louis XIV chair in one of the French furniture shops in Paris. And she really liked it, but there was a problem how she can ship it from Paris to the United States. And the seller said, it is really easy. If you can give me your city in the United States, I can ship it to you. Now, this has nothing to do with Muskegon, but more of the Grand Rapids, which used to be the furniture capital of the United States, if I am right. And Muskegon used to be the lumber capital of the United States. Okay, when the woman arrived in the United States, she checked the Louis XIV chair, checked everything, including the bottom. And the bottom said, made in Grand Rapids, Michigan. That's very
great.
true.
That's very great. Well, we don't need to do any questions.
One more question, please.
No, we're good. No, really, seriously. Okay.
Susan?
Hi, Craig Person. Cindy Larson called me one day and said, she called me kind of like an urban pioneer because I was doing some real estate investments in the McLaughlin neighborhood and encouraged me to get engaged with the city. She's a bright, shining star that will be missed. When you go to Sweden, I happen to have a Swedish roommate. I met 32 years ago in a city called Gothenburg, Sweden. And brought him here, he's here now. When you go, learn how to say hur mår du. That means, how are you? And the reply to that is, jag mår bra, which means I am fine. I can go further, but I just wanted to wish you well in your future.
Thank you so
Cheers.
much. Yeah, guys, it's been an honor and a pleasure. I have to say that. It's been an honor and a pleasure, and I'm so happy to be standing here today. One more question?
Can I hold you for a moment? Would Dave Alexander and Rachel please come forward?
It's like, oh no, now what?
Over the last few weeks, we have honored several of our fellow Muskegon Rotarians and community members for their contributions in support of Rotary Foundation by awarding them a Paul Harris Fellow recognition. However, becoming a Paul Harris Fellow is a milestone, not a destination. We ask those who become Paul Harris Fellows to continue supporting the Rotary Foundation and recognize them in multiple Paul Harris Fellows. With each additional $1,000 donation, a Paul Harris Fellow is presented with a pin and indicating their level of contribution. In our club, we have multiple Paul Harris Fellows. Today, we have the privilege of honoring a Paul Harris Fellow, Cindy Larson, who in the spirit of Paul Harris also dreams good dreams and makes them come true. Cindy is being presented the Paul Harris Plus Award due to the generosity of Steve Olson, Roger Morgenstern, Jim Fisher, Frank Peterson, and myself. For her many years of service in the Muskegon community, I'd like to invite Rachel Gorman forward, already forward, to tell us a couple of words more about the amazing contributions that she has seen Cindy has given to our community. Rachel?
Thank you. Okay, so I told Cindy that I'm calling this week her victory lap because it is impossible to sum up 25 years of her transformational change in one retirement party, which it was a great party. So thank you everybody for being there. She shared with me earlier this week how special it's been to be on the receiving end of so many acknowledgements, because when you're the chamber president, you're on the end of giving acknowledgements. And it's something, these exchanges for her career, that it's something I wanted to highlight today, that many people don't know. Really great chamber presidents, it is never about the president, because it is all about our members. And the people in that role that do that successfully take that seriously. And Cindy has always epitomized the humility of the call to service. So now that she's officially retired, though, I wanted to take the opportunity to put her in the spotlight. Like Dave mentioned, with support from Steve, Dave, Roger, Frank, and Jim, we are so thrilled to honor with Cindy with this Paul Harris +1 of her amazing career. So bear with me. I thought it was fitting to actually use the Rotary 4-way test to peel back the veil a little bit on just how incredible Cindy's work has been behind the scenes over the last 25 years. So is it the truth? The truth is that we are a Lakeshore community, and there was a time that we were not fully embracing this as our identity. And under Cindy's leadership, she changed the name of the Muskegon Chamber to include the word Lakeshore. And I truly believe that so many of us use the word Lakeshore when talking about Muskegon in our everyday vernacular because of Cindy. Is it fair to all concerned? In the early days of social media and anonymous comments on online news articles, our image was suffering. And instead of just accepting this coverage, Cindy addressed disproportionate crime news reporting on Muskegon with leadership at news publications and television studios head on. These were tough conversations, but her pressure to hold accountability never wavered. Some partners took ownership to their impact on Muskegon and made a change. And some are not here anymore. Ever the positive energy, Cindy also asked so many of us to be social media ambassadors and comment back when we saw negativity online, which seems so silly now. But at the time, like, we all signed that pledge that we would help, that we would commit to talking about Muskegon and positively. And it's still just so humbling to me when I'm scrolling and I see someone say something negative about Muskegon, and it's like someone we don't know saying, no, Muskegon's a great place. Thank you, Cindy. Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Cindy already told the story about the cruise ships. That is the real story, and I will never forget getting a text from her chamber staff, like, there is a cruise ship coming tomorrow. And we didn't know what that meant. We just knew to be ready. And Cindy's right. Like, I mean, Holland, we'll tell this story now. Holland was ready. We were not. And we were also being polite, standing at our tables. And I just won't forget, like, they scooted their table closer to get to the people on the bus. So, like, we scooted our table closer, and yes. And so, yeah. And then I was on a bus with a bunch of people going to Windmill Island and telling them all about Muskegon. Okay. Will it be beneficial to all concerned? One thing we haven't touched on yet, moving the Muskegon Farmers Market. I have yet to ever be at the farmer's market on a Saturday and not think about this woman when I see the crowds of people there from all walks of life. And that was a thing that Cindy understood researching internationally, nationally. Farmers markets are common third places where everyone in a community can gather. And she knew moving that farmers market to downtown would be a game changer for our community and would not be the end of our community. And she took so many personal attacks on that, again, that you would never hear her talk about. But anyway, I want you to think about that this Saturday when you're at the market. We have so much of her bravery to thank for that, because she never wavered. She took time actually to listen to a lot of complaints, and ultimately persevered. And we have one of the most premier farmers markets in the state of Michigan. That's a cornerstone of our community. So when Cindy accepted this role as chamber president in 1999, she was one of the first women in the country to be leading a chamber with more than 1,000 members. Under her leadership, your Muskegon Lakeshore Chamber of Commerce was awarded Chamber of the Year in the state of Michigan in 2006, 2012, and 2015. We were also a finalist for Chamber of the Year in the country in 2016 for the Watch Muskegon campaign. Cindy has been awarded Chamber Professional of the Year by our state association in 2008, and she was a National Chamber Executive awarded in 2017. I told Cindy that no amount of words will ever be enough for all of us to tell her thank you for so much. Thank you for all that she's done, but that I hope time will show her how grateful we are for her unwavering leadership in our community for the last 25 years. Thank you, Cindy.
Well, I have to say, there's more.
You can get this first. You're already standing. Please welcome back to the podium the most recent Paul Harris Fellow Plus in the world, Cindy Larson.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone. I mean, try not to get emotional, right?
You're there.
Yeah.
You're there.
But, it's been an emotional week for our country, right? And all of the losses and all of this, it just kind of goes on and on. So it's great to have the joyful side. The joyful side is so incredibly important. And I really don't need to talk anymore. I guess I want to make sure I'm just so proud of also, you want to know one of my great also things I'm so proud of? The day that Rachel asked me to coffee and told me that she was interested in my job, and my world changed right there. I got that retirement. I mean, she wasn't selected by me. She was selected by the board of directors. It just became such a clear, obvious choice that she has the spirit to carry us forward into the next generation. So I guess just I can't think of, I got so many people in here. I could tell our stories and our collaborations, our personal collaborations and our friendships. So I can't even start on that. So anyway, just thank you very much. And I appreciate everything that the Rotary does, and keep doing it, keep going forward. So thank you, everybody.
Mike, the birthday slide. Okay, birthdays this coming week. Heidi Seitzema, Ed Hedrickson, Missy Horton, Claire Root Benson, Jackie Fisher, and Chauncey Williams. So we have a few of them in the room today, so we're going to sing happy birthday. So if you would, happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you. Okay, now just a reminder to those who are having birthdays this week or coming week, we encourage you to use envelopes at the podium for the Caring Connection, or use the QR code on the birthday flyers that are at the podium. At this time, we are going to spotlight Tim Vanderhaar and the Muskegon County Cooperating Churches food trucks, which is a grantee of our Muskegon Rotary Community Fund at the Community Foundation.
Hi, my name is Tim Vanderhaar. I'm pastor at First Congregational Church, United Church of Christ in Muskegon. I also serve on the board of the Muskegon County Cooperating Churches, and we're going to be talking about mobile food pantries. We try to remember to call them mobile food pantries. A lot of people refer to them as food trucks, but according to the municipalities, a food truck is a vendor that needs to be licensed and all of that. This is a charitable food giveaway. The trucks with the food on them come from Feeding America out of their warehouse near Grand Rapids. And we have these mobiles taking place throughout the community each month. The truck comes into the parking lot of the host organization. In preparation for that, often quite a while ahead of time, people drive up with their cars, they line up, and when the truck is unloaded, tables set up, all that kind of stuff, then the cars come through and receive a box of food. This is one of many opportunities that Rotarians have to impact our community for better, for good. So, there are lots of ways to get involved, but this one's very concrete. It's food that goes into the households who come through that particular mobile food pantry. It doesn't solve the problem in the long term, but it helps them keep afloat while they're figuring out how to take the next steps.
Thank you. At this time, would Lisa Gaddy Arnold and her sponsors, Susan Samanyango, please come forward for Lisa's new member induction. Fellow Rotarians and guests, on behalf of Muskegon Rotary Club, it is my privilege to induct a member today. Please allow me to introduce Lisa Gaddy Arnold and her sponsor, Sue Samanyago. I'm sorry. Sue, would you give us the pleasure of introducing Lisa to our members and guests?
Absolutely. But I'm going to do a little aside first because I think it's appropriate that the program today had to do with the Chamber, because both of us are transplants to this community, and the Chamber and several Rotarians were a really big part of why we are both here. For me, it was Emily Morgenstern who took me on my tour when I came through to interview, and Rachel Corman, who did it for Lisa. So it's very cool. We're here, and I think that's really appropriate. So let me introduce my friend and colleague, Lisa. She is a wife and mom of 2 adult children. She moved to the Muskegon area just this June and accepting the position of Dean of Nursing and Health Programs at Muskegon Community College. She has volunteered in the past, usually involving her kids, schools, and sports. She enjoys reading, cooking, baking, and has a love for the beach, which, of course, where would you bring that but Muskegon? As a nurse for over 30 years, one of the themes that Lisa has allowed to guide her is the first provision of the Code of Ethics for Nurses. The nurse practices with compassion and respect for the inherent dignity, worth, and unique attributes of every person. What drew Lisa to Rotary was the statement on the website, "We, Muskegon Rotary, stand together, renouncing hate and bigotry and affirming our interconnectedness. We invite you all to be a part of Love Lives Here, respecting a variety of conversations and cultures where everyone feels welcome to share their contributions, making us all stronger and moving forward in hope and peace." There's nothing that says community more than that. Lisa looks forward to working with all of you and becoming a part of this community.
Lisa, you have been chosen for membership in Muskegon Rotary Club as a person of good character, high ethical standards, heart for service, and ideals of Rotary. Fellowship and friendship are the first aims and rewards of Muskegon Rotary membership. You will enjoy a network of leaders and professionals who are committed to welcoming you and mentoring you. We are admitting you into Muskegon Rotary Club and to the Fellowship of Rotary throughout the world. Membership is an honor and privilege with corresponding obligations. Your regular attendance will nurture your understanding and commitment to our principal motto, service above self. Every member is expected to perform his or her share of club service, community service, participation in fundraisers to support our charitable beneficiaries, and the ideal of friendship and networking. As you expect to receive, so must you also give. If you accept these obligations, please say, "I do." I do. She said, "I do." Lastly, I have a challenge for you to share the gift of membership in Rotary. Invite another person with your same qualities of character to join Muskegon Rotary in the next 6 months. Do you accept this challenge? I do. And she does. Lisa, in the name of the Rotary Club of Muskegon, I hereby formally admit you to membership in this club. And I now provide to you a pin and the 4-way test. Thank you. Rotary members and guests, please rise and welcome the most newest, that word wasn't in there, the newest Rotarian in the world, Lisa Gaddy Arnold. Thank you. At this time, we're going to be making some announcements. We have a couple live announcements, and Roger, if you want to come forward first.
Thank you, President Tim. I am a walking billboard for Harvest Fest. Someone also pointed out that I got my orange on for the Tigers. I was there yesterday. Go Tigers. So 2 weeks from today, I remember I was up here 2 weeks ago and I said, a month from today, 2 weeks from today is Harvest Fest. We still need to sell tickets. I know everyone tells me Muskegon shows up late, but folks, you only got 2 weeks. So please buy tickets. We're doing okay on ticket sales, but we need to sell more. Those of you who have signed up to be a sponsor, thank you very much. You'll be getting an email from Harvest Fest soon with information about having your tickets ready at the door. And if you're a volunteer on the day of the event and you'll be getting a discounted ticket, you'll be getting an email as well. I've had several people ask it, and we still have spots available to volunteer on the day of, but you'll get a discounted ticket since you'll be working for half a Harvest Fest. So, but just a reminder, the tickets are $85. There's a QR code on your table to buy tickets. It's also on page 6 of the RIM. I just looked. Thank you, Susan, for continuing to keep that in there. I badger her every week. Did you put that in there? So, but you'll have an opportunity to have some great networking opportunities. 50-50 raffle. You'll get 1 signature glass or a free point. We've got these really cool purple succulents. Our shirts this year for volunteers will be purple in honor of World Polio Day, which is also October 24th. So you can get a purple succulent. Volunteers will get a purple shirt. There might be a purple signature drink. We're really big on purple. So come check it out. We'll have live music, fall decor, a fall decor giveaway, and so much more. So looking forward to seeing everybody on the 24th. Thank you.
He's a really great salesperson, isn't he? Yeah. Hi, I'm Mary Ann Gorman, and I chair our membership council. And I have a favor to ask, which is simple. Next Tuesday, you will receive via Club Runner an email. And attached to that email will be a membership survey. We have not surveyed the club probably in 4, maybe even 5 years, formally. And this is your opportunity. Please, please, please take you less than 10 minutes to fill it out and tell us your frank, honest opinion of your club experience. There is room in the survey for comments. So if there are things that you want to tell us that aren't asked specifically through the questionnaire, use that time. As I said, it'll take about 10 minutes. And next week, I'll be up here reminding you, and the following, no, I won't. Next week, I won't. Somebody else will, that probably I'll have a better example. But seriously, we will ask you to complete it and return it by October 25th. So you'll have about 10 days, and it'll take you 10 minutes. So do it the first day you get it. Please, please, please. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Jamie Hecker, and I am here on behalf of October is the Big Read Month, and I think we've told you a little bit about that before, but for the 2024 Lakeshore Big Read, there are 3 books that we, both Rotary and the entire Lakeshore, are reading together. The Great Gatsby, Mexikid, and Dreamers, and I have a copy of Mexikid right here. Encouraging everyone who hasn't read this to read it. I did this week. It is funny. It is amazing. It says it's 300 pages, but it takes like 2 hours to read maybe. And this copy is going to be up for lending. And I know Sarah in the back has a few other copies. And the reason you want to grab it today and read it is because next week at Rotary, we're going to have Dr. Deb Van Dunen from Hope College and the founder of the Big Read Lakeshore. So as part of the Q&A, we're going to have some of our we're going to encourage Rotary members who have read the book to share what cultural insight they gained from reading the book. And if you've read it, I think you probably gained a lot of just laughs and tears and things like that. So like I said, we have more of these to share. So please stop by, and it is time well spent. It is not just a graphic novel, but a graphic memoir, which is something I didn't even know existed.
As many of you are aware, the district conference scheduled for October 18 through 20 has been canceled due to the lack of sufficient registrations. Those of you who did register should have received an email from District Governor Brianna Scott. She was here earlier but had to leave, announcing the cancellation, and also an email from District Administrator Kathy Hegedus regarding the refunding of your registration fees. At this time, I wish to announce a revision of the no-show meal charge, which is a new benefit for members, which was approved by the Board of Directors this last Tuesday, October the 8th. Let me give you a little bit of background. Muskegon Rotarians have raised concerns with the current policy of charging members a no-show fee for those who have signed up for a weekly meeting but were unable to attend. In today's world, especially younger members who have many business and family responsibilities and cannot always predict their advance availability to attend Thursday noon meetings, we have provided for this revision. To accommodate this rescheduling, as I mentioned, this policy revision was passed this last Tuesday. Processes which are not changing, it's important for you to know that the processes that we are not changing. Members will still use the Sign Up Genius to register luncheons by Monday immediately prior to the luncheon. If members need to cancel their registration, they can still contact Kim Boersma to cancel. And those members who missed the Monday sign-up deadline can still contact Kim to be put on a wait list to fill a cancellation. As you know from experience, Kim will do her level best to replace a cancellation registration with another member who wishes to attend the luncheon. Through these processes and a lot of hard work by Kim, we have significantly reduced the number of meal charges for those who needed to cancel. So what has changed? In addition to the existing processes I just mentioned, we already have in place, here is what is changing. Every member will be able to have one no-show charge canceled per quarter. Members should consider the sign-up process for luncheon meetings as reserving a meal. Rotarians who need more flexibility in their schedules can still have the ability to participate in a weekly meeting through Zoom. And what is also new, there will be chairs set up at the back of the room at our meeting locations to accommodate people who show and still wish to participate. They'll be invited to have water or coffee and fully participate in the meeting. So we plan to publish this revision in a soon-to-be-published RIM, if not this next week, and also a Club Runner email. So thank you very much. We think this is going to enable people who have unexpected things arise in their life, to have the opportunity to have a cancellation for those no charge. But importantly, we really have not had that many. Kim, I think we might have had 15 in the last quarter. So that have had to have those particular fees. So thank you very much on that matter. And at this time, one other thing, there is, we have received confirmation from Rotary International that the Rewinds application for the Satellite Club status has been approved. Our understanding is formal confirmation of the approval will be received by us once Rotary International is assigned a club number. Oh, and I forgot to mention the podcast episode number 40 will feature a conversation with one of our members, Melissa Horton, on the Lakeshore Museum Center. At this point in time, I'll turn it over to Mary Beth Ramos for the raffle. $5 for the first one. $097. Way in the back, Mary Beth. $151. $090. Okay, next week's program will be the Big Read that was just mentioned. And at this time, if you please rise to recite the four-way test. Of the things we think, say, or do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Thank you very much for your attendance today, and have a great week. We are adjourned.